What's up, vinyl community? It's your boy Chris coming at you live from the man cave, as always. I want to do several things in this video. First of all, I want to talk about some very kind, unbelievable VCLT that I got from a couple of awesome friends here in the vinyl community. I want to talk about a record store dig that I had recently, an awesome eBay score that I had recently, and a holy shit box of heat that I got from my boy DJ Party up in Richmond a couple of days ago. You do not want to miss this. Dig in. It's a whole box of heat, and he couldn't even get everything in there, so I've got another box of heat, and let's just say I ain't mad. Let's just say I ain't mad. So first of all, cheers to all you guys on this, what day is it? Shit, I don't know. Wednesday? Correct me if I'm wrong. I know the date, but I don't know the day. When you work rotating 12s, does it really matter? No. Anyway, first up. So, I got an awesome piece in the mail. And when I say awesome, I mean like I've got some ideas for this thing. Like there's some things that I really want to do with this. I don't think they would have thought that when they sent it to me, but wow. I had gotten an Instagram DM not too long ago from a friend that just said that they saw something and thought of me and wanted to send it to me. And I was like, okay. So I gave them my address, and the rest is history. It took, a couple of weeks, and here it is. Guys, this really, for you guys to send it to me, and I'll name you in a second, this really brought a tear to my eyes, guys. This is a thoughtful gift. You really have to think. You really have to have somebody in your mind to think about something like this. This is great. So it's a hangable guitar with a nice cold brew down at the bottom, some music notes, and it says Brewing Tunes. And as you guys know, I always name my segments here, especially the ones that I do exclusively from the man cave, as Tunes and a Brew. Well, that just changed. You guys... That just changed. It's Brewing Tunes now. How could it be anything else? And I want to try to see, for anybody out here who has, if you're watching me, if you have any talent at all in graphic design and whatever, I'd like to include this in like an intro video, maybe with a little background music I won't get copyrighted for, to jump off my videos. So if you're somebody who has that kind of ability, please holler at your boy. Either message me here, email, tunesfromthemancave@gmail.com. Please, I'd love to talk to you because I don't have the ability, but something tells me one of you guys will help. I'd love to incorporate this, and of course it's going on the wall here in the man cave. This is beautiful. This is wonderful. Thank you so much. Also got a letter. I'm assuming that if you sent it to me, you know that it'll be read, and then I hope you don't mind. I don't think you will. Nothing personal here. Chris, just a little something for the man cave. We saw this and thought of you. Steve and Stacy, a.k.a. Mr. and Mrs. Zonkman. LOL. Sorry about the frou-frou card. It's not frou-frou, it's sweet, and I'll keep it forever. It's awesome. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Steve and Stacy. Thank you for seeing this and thinking of me, because I think it's perfect, and I want to include it in my entire logo. I mean, I'm not going to change my profile pic. The profile pic's there for a reason, and I'll keep it there. But in terms of like maybe an intro for a video or something, I'd love to do that. So if any of you guys have that ability, holla at your boy. So, Mr. Zonkman, I do believe the very first video you ever did was in response to my 500 subscribers contest. So, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. If I am, please correct me. Thank you, man. Thank you to your lovely wife. You guys didn't have to think about me. That's wonderful. And I'll best believe this is going on the wall, bro. I'm trying to figure out a spot, but it's going. And thank you so much. You guys are awesome. I still get amazed that anybody would ever want to send me anything. I do. But anyway, you guys please forgive me. My sinuses are terrible. Next up, so last Friday, I had, decided to have a bro day. Me and my buddy Josh had to take me to Birch on Instagram. Hopefully we'll get him here on YouTube sooner rather than later. Went to go check out It Chapter 2. Phenomenal. Went to go to Optimus Hall for lunch in Charlotte, North Carolina. Awesome, great stuff. Legal Remedy Brewery in Rock Hill. And of course, I mean, what is any visit to Charlotte for a couple of record collectors without hitting up wonderful, wonderful Lunchbox Records in Charlotte, North Carolina. So, I go, and here's the funny thing. I didn't have to dig through any shelves to spend over $100. I come in, the owner, Scott, who's become a friend over the years, probably because I've spent thousands of dollars in his store, spots me immediately from the back room, points at me and says, "You're here for the new Blue Notes, aren't you?" And by the new Blue Notes, he means the Blue Note Tone Poet series, which, I've told you guys, I will buy the reissues. I really will. They're usually just placeholders, but Tone Poet does some great things, and I want to talk to you guys about a couple here in a second. So he didn't even tell me where to go find them. He just goes and gets them for me. Okay. He puts them in my hands, and he goes, "Now come back over here. I got something else I think you might want." And so, before I tell you what it is, let's just show you. So the Tone Poets that I go for. Hustlin', Stanley Turrentine with Shirley Scott, Kenny Burrell, Bob Cranshaw, Otis Finch. It's beautiful. It sounds awesome. It really just does. The presentation's awesome. Look at that glossy cover. They did these well. Next up, this is one that I've already listened to a couple times. I cannot believe this session got shelved. I can't believe it was 1980 before this came out on vinyl, and when it did, it was not great treatment. This is an upgrade over the original release. Donald Byrd, Chant, beautiful Blue Note style cover that we're all accustomed to. Pepper Adams, Herbie Hancock, Dud Watkins, and Teddy Robinson. This is wonderful. Again, the gatefold, the whole treatment, I mean, they really do. They're doing a great job with these things. I can't even begin to tell you. And it put just such an amazing smile on my face to know that they were doing these. Because I got to tell you, a few years ago they did the Blue Note 75s. And let me just tell you that I not only was I not impressed, but I was just flat out sad about it. Because very little was taken into consideration in terms of production. I mean, they weren't 180 gram. They were... a lot of times you pull them out sealed and they're already scuffed. It's like they're sealed. I pull it out, it's scuffed. I got a couple still over here. And it's just like, come on, man. Because to me, it put a tear in my eye because Blue Note Records is my favorite record label of all time. Of all time. So, to see a reissue series get taken so just lightly, it really pissed me off. And so I only have a couple. And... they're gone as soon as I find any reissue earlier than that. It doesn't even have to be an original. If I find a Liberty, they're gone. It pissed me off. But anyway, they are absolutely on the game this year, by the way. Don't take me wrong. The Tone Poet series, under $30, audiophile quality, 180 gram. And my favorite part is they're releasing a lot of these sessions that got shelved and didn't get released until the late 70s, early 80s, but didn't get put out well when they did. The covers were lame as hell and everything. They're re-releasing them, Blue Note style covers, audiophile treatment. They are upgrades over those pressings if you have them. This Donald Byrd Chant is an upgrade. That the Wayne Shorter, etc. is an upgrade. Seriously, if you have those originals, I swear to God, pull them off a bridge, go buy these Tone Poets. I'm not kidding. I mean, you guys know I don't take that lightly. So I'm serious. I'm not kidding at all. They're under $30, and you can get at least half of that back for those originals. So, seriously. All right. So anyway, the record that Scott calls me to the back for. Miles Davis. Someday My Prince Will Come. Beautiful woman on the cover, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, was either Miles' wife or girlfriend at the time. I'm not sure. I'd have to double check. I knew that once upon a time, I know, but now that I'm sitting here in front of you guys, I'm not positive. And it's got John Coltrane, Hank Mobley, Wynton Kelly, Paul Chambers, and Jimmy Cobb. Of course, Coltrane's only on a few tracks as he and Miles parted ways during this session. but it is an original master recording that you guys can see. And God bless the previous owner. And it's not the most recent run of original master recordings. It's the one from, I think, the 80s, if I'm not mistaken. It's got all of the original inserts. Everything comes with it. And here's the wax. And it looks like the gentleman never played it. Why he would never play such a glorious bastard like this, I'll never be able to understand. But it looks as if he never played it. So I'm going to remedy that situation here in a minute. I've already listened to several records today. This one might be next. Who knows? It's an album I've heard a lot of times in my life. And it was an upgrade from the 1977 yellow and orange, yellow and red label, Columbia original. Not. I wish. From the yellow and red 1977 Columbia reissue that I did have. To say that I would still sell this one for an original copy goes without saying, but man, this is going to sound sweet. There's no doubt in my mind. I used to have over 100 Mo-Fis. I did. But they became something that was easy to flip for a lot of Skrilla when I got into the original jazz game. So I now have just this one. This is officially my only Mo-Fi as of right now. Officially. And I used to have over 100. And just looking at that is just amazing to me. It's totally amazing to me. All right, so next up. eBay score, and a really, really solid eBay score. So, I had the Ornette Coleman trio at the Golden Circle, Stockholm, Volume 1, original mono pressing for a long time. And I've been a big fan of it. And, you know, Ornette Coleman's a little more out there than, you know, than my usual lane, but still, I do enjoy visiting. I believe he's a genius. He was a genius. And so Volume 2 had been on my radar, but, you know, I wasn't going to go $300-$400 for it, $200. I wasn't going to do it. I was keeping my eye on it. And last week, I got an opportunity to own the Ornette Coleman Trio at the Golden Circle, Stockholm, Volume 2 for $30, winning an eBay auction last week. So you guys know me. Of course, beautiful mono blue note label, deep groove, gorgeous pressing, very super duper clean copy. And the best part about it all for you viewers is it came in the original shrink. So what happens when your boy Chris at Tunes from the Man Cave gets an album in the original shrink? Bye bye love, bye bye happiness, think I'm gonna cry. Except for I'm not, because now it looks like a record. Bam. Doesn't that look like a record now? That looks like a record. Come on, guys. Let your sleeves breathe. Get rid of that shrink. Ain't mad at me. You guys who keep it, but I would be lying if I said I don't understand why. Next up. Man, my sinuses are killing me. Jazz Impressions. Vince Guaraldi. He's sitting there with that big, huge mustache, and my boy Marcus at DJ Party. When he pitched it to me, goes, "Hey, you know, don't let the big mustache or whatever, fool you, or the Snoopy, or don't let the Charlie Brown fool you. This is a really good West Coast jazz record." And I was like, okay. Because I'm going to be honest with you guys, I really, Vince Guaraldi, for those of you who don't know, is behind, some of the music and by some of the music, I mean, a lot of it, for Charlie Brown. I really don't care for Charlie Brown. I'm going to be honest with you. I watch Charlie Brown with my dad every Thanksgiving, every Christmas, but I've never cared for it. Charlie Brown's just kind of like boring to me. But what I do care for is the music. I do like the music. So I've always liked the music in the background. So when my boy pitched it to me, it was like, you know what? I have always liked the Charlie Brown music. I'm not going to lie. And this guy's kind of sort of a legend, regardless of how ridiculous that mustache is and how squinted his eyes looks, as if he's looking directly into the freaking sun. I mean, I would have asked for another photo, I believe. But either way about it, I have not heard it yet. I've never heard this, and I reserve judgment. It's a mono pressing, and it's a promo. And it's, oh my God, super clean, and I'll let you guys know what I think of it. But just for proof that it's a promo, I mean, I don't think any of you guys will doubt me, but just in case. Super clean, and I'm looking forward to it. I mean, if I didn't, in the end, decide that it was something I looked like I would want to play, I would have passed, and I don't know. You know, don't judge a book by its cover. There's several albums I've had in my collection over the years that I had thought were going to be lame just because of the covers. Then I finally get hip to them, and they are the shiz. So, I mean, we'll see. Now, that's the first one from the box of heat that came from my boy. Now I'm going to have to go through some of these at least pretty quick, spend some time on others, because there's a lot, and this video is already over 15 minutes. James Moody, Argo. Obviously, you guys, let's get rid of that glare. Awesome LP. Original pressing on Argo. It's mint. Splat out. It's awesome. It's a really good album. Highly recommended, in one of those ones that's going to come a little cheaper than many jazz albums, of course, because A, it's on Argo, B, because, you know, James Moody kind of flies below the radar for a lot of people. I'll spend some more time on it later. But, yeah. The Charles Bell Contemporary Jazz Quartet. Charles Bell on piano, Bill Smith on guitar, Alan Blairman on drums, and Frank Traficante on bass. Anyway, it's on Columbia. It's on that gorgeous original 6i mono label. It's a great record. It's not one that you hear about very often. It is one that my boy DJ Party Marcus hit me to. I threw it on digitally, which I usually don't like to do. But if I'm really curious about an album and haven't made my mind up whether or not I want to buy it or not, I'll usually go that route. It's like, if it sounds good to me digitally, then there you have it. Because I've got a couple of records I'm going to show you guys here in a little while that I heard for the first time digitally and thought they were good. I heard Today on the turntable and thought, oh my God, these are life-altering. So, they're coming. The Champ, Sonny Stitt, with Joe Newman, Duke Jordan, Sam Jones, and Roy Brooks. This is, of course, Sonny, a little older, a little later in the game. It's on Muse Records, Blue Label. I think this is my only record on Muse, but, you know, the session was recorded in 1973, so you've got Sonny, to say a little past his prime, was probably, you know, an understatement, but he's killer on this record. They're all killer on this record. This is good stuff, and this is one that can be found for cheap. Keep your eyes on it, and if you see it, jump on it. All right, next up. This is one I've never heard, but my boy Marcus, DJ Party, insisted. He's like, you're going to love it. I have no doubt in my mind. This is you all day. And it's on Atlantic, and it's Lenny Tristano. Let's go ahead and get that. This is super clean. Oh my God, super clean. The lineup. I'm looking for the lineup. Excuse me. Lenny Tristano on the piano. Lee Konitz on the alto sax, who I'm familiar with. Gene Ramey on the bass, and Art Taylor, one of the greatest drummers ever of all time, on the drums. As a matter of fact, when my boy sold it to me, he had told me, he goes, just take a look at that lineup, especially the one on the drums. I'm like, as soon as I saw Art Taylor, I'm like, this has got to be legit. It's that Red and Plum Atlantic label. It's the shiz, and I have no doubt it's going to be awesome. I mean, when I tell you, this cover is perfect. It's perfect. Not sure what year this was released. Anyway, I'll find out later. But when I tell you it's a perfect cover, I mean, I get covers from new albums that aren't nearly as good as that one. I mean, that's something else. Definitely looking forward to hearing it. Next up, Little Big Horn, Nat Adderley, of course, brother of Cannonball Adderley, with the Junior Mance Trio, Kenny Burrell and Jim Hall. It's on Riverside. And what's the rule about Riverside, you guys? Anything on Riverside is good. It's got that teal whatever, if you'll have it, Riverside label on it. And it also has shrink wrap. Oh, shrink wrap. Oh, no, you're killing us. Yes, we are shrink wrap. Get out of here. You suck. But anyway, there it is. Little Big Horn, Nat Adderley. He's not exactly his brother, but this is a great record. I know it for a fact. And the Junior Mance Trio was something serious. Kenny Burrell, obviously, still among us. Hopefully he's doing well, last I'd heard. You know, there were some problems. GoFundMe was started, which he was well exceeded, so his fans stepped up, myself including. I donated an undisclosed amount. I will not tell you how much because, you know, why? I ain't no need to brag about something like that. But this is a great album. You see it? Jump on. And by the way, I'm progressing. The further I go down the list, the closer I'm getting to the big dogs. Just to keep you guys watching. In case you're not just here for my bearded beer drinking face. Alright. Next up, the return of Bud Powell. And this is his first recording since 1958 on this one. He had taken a self-imposed sabbatical, if you will. Traveled the world. Moved overseas. But he's one of the all-time greats on the keys. I don't think there's anybody that can ever dispute that. He's on the keys here, obviously. John Orr on the bass. J.C. Moses on the drums. This is a really, really solid record. The person who owned it took great care of it. It's in great condition. It's on Roulette Records. And I'll give you guys, I think I have several on Roulette, a look at that Roulette label. It's gorgeous. Great record. Bud Powell, one of the all-time geniuses. One of the all-time giants of the piano and jazz. Next up, hey, a departure from jazz. Same seller, but a departure from jazz. But right down smack deep in my soul, obviously. This is a record I'll always own in my collection. Okay, it's Curtis Mayfield, self-titled debut, Curtis. And I had already owned this album. But when my boy pitched it to me, he pitched it to me with one selling point that I just could not ignore. A couple of selling points I could not ignore. There's that hype sticker. That promo sticker. It's very hard to find this album with that sticker. Very hard. It wasn't on all of them, and you almost never see it. But of course, it just says, don't worry, if there's a hell below, we're all going to go, which is the debut single off the album. Glorious gatefold. I imagine that's Curtis and his young daughter, I would think. I don't think he was just randomly snatching up kids in the street. I don't think that was Curtis's MO. Cover's in phenomenal condition. It's got the original insert, which you also never see. And of course, it resides just in front of my MoFi sleeve with the record. Split out. Gorgeous. Gorgeous stuff. I already had an original pressing of this, but I didn't have one with the promo sticker, and I didn't have the original insert. So, what I did is I combined this cover, this insert sleeve, with the vinyl LP that I already had, because the vinyl I had was super, super, super clean. And I am now selling my other original that I had. Again, cover's in good condition. It's got a small split in the gatefold. The record is probably VG minus, I'd say, and that's the one that came with the one I just showed you. It's for sale, and it hasn't sold yet. I've posted it on Instagram, but it's for sale. Anybody who wants it, message me underneath, email me, tunesforthemancave@gmail.com, Instagram, DM me, whatever. But it is for sale. I'm asking $30 for it. When we get to a conversation, who knows? You never know. But it's a sweet copy. Got everything, the same thing as that one. Gatefold, the whole nine. Only difference is it's got a small split in the gatefold. And a little writing on the labels. But yeah, if you guys want pics or whatever, holler at your boy. Anyway, this isn't going to be an entire video about selling stuff, so let's keep it moving. If you want it, holler at me. Alright, so next up, more Cannonball for you guys. Original stereo on Riverside. Them Dirty Blues by the Cannonball Adderley Quintet featuring his brother, previously mentioned, Nat Adderley. Anything with Cannonball Adderley on it, guys, is great. I can't tell you the guys this enough. If it's got Cannonball on it, it's original black stereo label. If it's got Cannonball on it, then you've got to get it into your life. Seriously, you got to do it. So anyway, great record. Next up, Cannonball Adderley and the Poll Winners, featuring Ray Brown and Wes Montgomery. Now, I already owned this album, but you guys know how I like to wagon wheel. The other copy that I own was a first stereo. This is a first mono, Blue Riverside, and it's in phenomenal condition. So what does that mean? Okay, if I have this, what does that mean? That means that I'm selling off the first stereo. So here it is. Cannonball Adderley and the Poll Winners. First stereo, this is black label, but first stereo. Phenomenal condition. If you're interested, message below. Email me tunesforthemancave@gmail.com. Instagram DM me. I'm asking $30 for it, but once again, who knows how that can go. It's a phenomenal record. It was good enough for me to want to upgrade to mono. I don't do that for just any album. So very much worth it. Holla at your boy. It's posted on Instagram on the stories. But if you can beat anybody on Instagram to it, it's yours. All right, next up. Now let's go with some original mono Blue Note, shall we? I mean, they don't call me the Blue Note Bloodhound for nothing. So, next up, Jimmy Smith plays Fats Waller. Super duper clean cover. It is an original mono pressing. Splat Owl, New York labels, you know how I wagon wheel. It's phenomenal. Cover is, oh my God, and whoever owned it before me. Jimmy Smith, of course, on the organ. Quentin Warren on the guitar, and Donald Bailey on the drums. This is a great record. And Jimmy Smith, the great thing about Jimmy Smith is because he made so many albums on Blue Note, they're not that expensive. Go figure. So you see Jimmy Smith on Blue Note, buy it. Simple. Jimmy Smith on Blue Note, reasonable price, because they're always reasonable price. Just buy them. Seriously. You never get disappointed. You never get bad music. There's a reason Blue Note kept him around so long. The guy was consistent. The guy made good music. And the next up is actually one that is also for sale. For any of you guys who are interested in buying some records today. Okay. So, beautiful album. Beautiful album cover. Crazy Baby. The incredible Jimmy Smith. Okay. This is an original stereo pressing. The cover's immaculate. It's perfect. Word on the street is that's Jimmy's car. And the other word on the street is that's Jimmy's girl. I don't doubt either. But either way about it is a beautiful album cover. And, of course, the album features Jimmy Smith on the organ, obviously. Quentin Warren on the guitar and Donald Bailey on the drums. So the same lineup you were just looking at a moment ago. And it's a great album. And it's an original stereo. I bought it knowing that I had an original mono. And I bought it knowing I had an original mono because, A, the condition on this one was so sweet. By that meaning, guys, there's nothing in the world wrong with this. And because I thought, hey, it's a good deal. I don't mind sound comparing them. I don't. And I've sound compared mono and stereo more times than I can even count. Mono almost always wins for these jazz-loving ears. But for any of you guys interested, I'm currently shopping it on Instagram for $50. Any of you guys want it, you know what to do. It has not sold yet. No inquiries. So, but anyway, before I send it your way, I will sound compare. So it's going to be listened to by your boy at least once. Other than that, man, she's a beauty. Really beautiful record. Next up, I had a feeling this would be a 2-beer video, so I went ahead and grabbed a couple. Usually I'm smart and just grab a bigger glass, but the bigger glass wasn't cold. For you guys that drink your beer room temperature, what the fuck is wrong with you? And by the way, if you're one of my people that subscribe to me and follow me, I want to know. Seriously, it's not wine. It's not whiskey. Why are you drinking at room temperature? I'm afraid I need to know. I honestly need to know. Because I've asked a couple of beer snobs why they drink their beer. Well, it's just, you get a better hint of the flavor, and it's like, no, you get hot-ass beer in the South. in South Carolina, where today in mid-September it's 95 degrees. Beer's best served cold. Anyway, sorry for that departure. You guys know. Next up. Okay. On the spur of the moment, Horace Parlan. Okay. For any of you guys not familiar with Horace Parlan, look him up. Get him into your life. Genius on the keys. Legendary pianist. Great stuff. I love this album cover. It's simple, but the colors just complement each other so well. It's Horace, of course, on the keys. You got Tommy Turrentine. On the trumpet, Stanley Turrentine on the tenor sax, Horace Parlan on the piano, George Tucker on the bass, and Al Harwood on the drums. This is a phenomenal album, and one that unfortunately I have to report to you that out of all these albums, this may be the only non-original pressing. It is, I think, a 1970s Japanese Toshiba pressing, which, by the way, for any of you guys who look to have your jazz at a very high quality that just don't want to shell out the money for these originals, Japanese, the Toshibas, the Kings, money well spent, guys, because you get them for $30 to $50 and they sound immaculate. So keep your eyes on it. I'm going to listen to it. One of these days this will belong to one of you guys, because you know I'm going to want to upgrade to that OG. You already know. All right, next up. Another original mono blue note. Freddie Roach, Brown Sugar. Actually, I want to make sure you guys get a better look at this cover. Awesome album cover. What's significant about this one is, there is no believe it or not, I don't think. I think you guys are going to know exactly where I'm coming from. Even for a record label that employed 99.9% African American musicians, and even considering that this album has 100% African American musicians on it, the label's still not black owned. So, as you guys know, and it is not commonplace in the 1960s to see a black woman on the cover of an album, even if it's a jazz album. It's not commonplace. And of course, you have this striking individual. She's beautiful. So I always, if I see albums, obviously I already like the album, but if I see a jazz album or, an album in general that's got, a beautiful black woman on the cover of it, especially released in this, in these days, in the 60s, in the 50s and 60s, I'm all about it. I want it. I want it as part of my collection. And, that was one thing, but, it can have anything on the cover, and I'm still buying Joe Henderson, Eddie Wright, Clarence Johnston. But you guys get what I'm putting down, I hope. Wonderful album. Phenomenal album. I'm very happy to have it. Brown Sugar, original mono pressing. The New York labels, the whole nine. But just a beautiful piece for me. One I'll always cherish. Next up. All right. Now we're getting to the big dogs. That was the start of the big dogs, actually, the one I just showed you. I just didn't think to announce it. I was already preparing my spiel about it. Cannonball Adderley with Bill Evans. Know what I mean? Okay. This is Cannonball sharing the spotlight with the legendary Bill Evans. This is an original stereo pressing. And of course, you also have Percy Heath on bass and Connie Kay on the drums. Neither one of those are featured that prominently. When I tell you guys that this is a collaborative showdown between Cannonball and Bill Evans, I mean it. Cannonball relinquishes the spotlight for Bill and vice versa. And the results are, oh my God, out of this world impeccable. This may very well be my favorite Cannonball album. And I mean that. And I'm talking about over something else. It's awesome. If you want a low-key, low-vibe, laid-back jazz album to listen to at night, maybe before bed with a good glass of whiskey or whatever drink it is you crave, or if you want one to start the day off with a good cup of coffee, or if you want one just because you're just feeling low-key, in the middle of the day. This one's got you covered on all fronts above. It is a wonderful, 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 wonderful jazz album, and I can see myself returning to it very often, because I usually like to start my days off with something a little more mellow, a little more low-key, and I usually like to end my days off with something a little more mellow, a little more low-key. And this one, and it's an awesome cover. It's got, of course, you got Cannonball here, but you look right there. There's Bill Evans. It's a wonderful album. If you see this, if you see any pressing of this, Tonto jump on it. I'm not even going to do the song with this. I'm being serious. Grab it. Get it into your life, guys. It's a phenomenal freaking record. Yeah, it is. The music's phenomenal. There's no bad Cannonball albums. That's one of my favorites. Probably my favorite, easily. Next up, one I just listened to hour and a half, 2 hours ago. It's Hank Mobley, a caddy for Daddy. Awesome album. Original stereo pressing. It's killer. Lee Morgan on the trumpet. Buy every album Lee Morgan plays on. Buy them. Buy them. Buy them. You buy them and thank me later. You won't regret it. Curtis Fuller on the trombone. Hank on the tenor sax. McCoy Tyner on the piano. Bob Cranshaw on bass and Billy Higgins on the drums. The cover's not perfect. Get that little chip right there, but not like the Love Supreme that I used to have. Not like that. And it's a phenomenal album. The record is in phenomenal condition. It plays all the way through. Goal of mine is to own every album Lee Morgan ever played on. And I'm getting closer and closer all the time. Let's just say that. Let's just say that. Next up. Okay. This is the grand champion of this haul. This is the one that I'm the happiest to have obtained. This is a Grail. This is Grail level. And I scratched it off last week, 2 weeks ago. Got it in yesterday. Had it on the platter earlier today. And here it comes. It's the Cats. Let me give you better context. The cover is perfect. It's the Cats. Tommy Flanagan. John Coltrane. You guys ever heard of him? Kenny Burrell and Idris Sullivan. It is a phenomenal session. It is awesome. No splits, no shoes, no problems. It is wonderful. Then it's got a beautiful, of course, obviously, New Jazz label on it. It is a first mono pressing, and it is immaculate. It is one that I've had on my Grail list for I can't even begin to tell you how long. And it was one that I was happy to cross off. I set on the next ones. Because for me, there's always a Grail until I have it, and then there's another Grail. So I had a feeling when I got started with this that it would probably be a 40-minute video. Had several things to talk about. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Zonkman. Zonkman, whatever. Zonkman. Anyway, that's awesome. And I'm going to find a way to incorporate it into my videos. And from now on, it's not Tunes in a Brew, it's Brewing Tunes. Thank you guys. Super, super sweet gift. I can't thank you enough. Thank you to Lunchbox Records. Thank you to my boy DJ Pari. Until next time. Until next video. Hope you guys have gotten a lot of super sweet finds lately. Till next time, till next video, keep dropping that needle, you guys.